Welcome into Three the Hard Way, aka the three-man gel and weave, aka the best big three since LeBron, D Wade, and Bosh. We back again with episode 2, fellas. Let's get it. If you don't know who I am the walking bucket, instant offense savage. Up here, we got my guy, the coach on the sidelines, taking them to school on and off the court. And when I say it's really shitty, it's really shitty. Shitty, what up, though?
Hey, what's happening, man? Another day, another dollar, another Sunday to talk basketball and put on the ears on Monday.
Yes, sir. In the other corner, we got my guy, your favorite DJ, the sample man himself, Tev Shakir. Toot, what up?
What's going on, my brothers? Happy Sunday.
No smoke.
Nah, of course I got the smoke, but you know,
Like literally.
It's be a laid back episode today, a real laid back episode. But hey, if we get there, get there. But of course,
I saw the crumble. Yeah, I saw the crumble. I ain't talking about the cookie.
It's Sunday, man. Come on, it's Sunday. Happy Sunday, folks.
My God.
All right, real quick for the people who got some housekeeping. So if you are listening on a podcast platform, do us a favor and leave a 5-star review, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you're listening, leave a 5-star review. Even if you don't want to leave a 5-star review, you can do a 4, 3, whatever you want to do. Leave a review. Let us know what we can do to get better, how we can better serve you guys as our listeners. If you are on YouTube, stop the video right now. Like the video. We had 7 likes last video, but we have 42 views. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, put on notifications so that you can get the instant video once we drop it on Monday morning. And then also, if you want to leave a comment, that's fine. If not, go over on social media. We have a Twitter now. It's 3 The Hardaway Pod. That's the number 3, The Hardaway Pod. Follow our podcast there. Follow us on our social medias. I won't say them all right now because y'all know us, where to find us. But without further ado, today, gentlemen, let's get into the NBA schedule. So last week, the NBA released the schedule on Wednesday. So we all know who our teams are playing, what's going to be happening on Christmas, all of that. So the concept of this show this episode came to me because the standings looked totally different on Christmas than what they did, to end the season. So before the show began, I asked Sheedy and I asked Toot, did they know what the standings were prior to Christmas starting last year? And so they told me they didn't know. So what I want you guys to do is to guess 1 through 8, the standings. You don't got to guess them all at once. You can start at 1 and go down. Guess the standings 1 through 8 in the East and then the West as well too. So let's start with the East, fellas. Who was the number 1 seed at Christmas last year in the East?
Okay, I guess I'll break rank and go first. Number 1 in the East, I would have said number 1 last year at this time. Give me, dang, I'm hurt. I really don't know, man. Because I'm literally looking at all the teams. All right, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna go through it. I know I'm going to be wrong, so it doesn't even matter. Give me the Nets.
Okay, the Nets was number 1. So the Nets was number 1 seed at Christmas last year.
Yep.
All right, so number 2. What do you think number 2 was?
Oh, you know what? Let me let 2 go. 2, who do you think was number 2?
Okay, number 2.
Now I'll go 3.
I think number 2, give me Milwaukee.
Nope, it wasn't Milwaukee.
It was Milwaukee.
It was not
give me
Milwaukee.
76ers.
It was not Philly.
Washington.
It was not Washington.
Cleveland?
No.
It was not Cleveland.
Cleveland was like a 4th seed.
Okay, so it was Miami.
You said what?
Miami.
Nope, wasn't Miami.
The Raptors. No, sorry, the Bulls. The Bulls.
Ugly. It's probably an ugly team.
Chicago Bulls.
The Bulls, yeah.
The Bulls before all the injuries.
Yeah, Brooklyn Nets, Chicago Bulls. All right, number 3.
Nets, okay. Bulls. All right, Nets, Bulls, and then I'll put the Bucks.
Milwaukee was number 3. Mm-hmm. All right, number 4.
Let me see. It's not Boston because
somebody said it. Somebody said it earlier.
Cleveland.
Cleveland's number 4.
Washington.
No,
Cleveland number 4. Okay.
Cleveland number 4. And then Washington was number 5. So they're right after.
Number 5. Okay, cool. I knew that was somewhere.
Yeah. All right, 6.
6. Was it Toronto?
Nope.
Boston.
Nope.
Now Boston was way down.
We got the Bucks yet. Is it the Bucks?
Bucks there. Bucks at 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hawks.
Nope, not the Hawks.
Sixers?
I'm serious. I'm looking dead at it right now.
Who was it?
Toronto?
No, it didn't say Toronto.
Not
The
Toronto.
Heat.
Not Miami.
Man, we still won in the 6th seed. Wow.
Charlotte?
Charlotte was number 6.
Oh, that's disgusting. Oh.
So far, we got Brooklyn in order: Brooklyn, Chicago, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Washington, Charlotte. 1 through 6 right now. So a lot of teams y'all haven't mentioned yet that made the playoffs are not even in this conversation yet.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we don't need to say Boston because Boston's not even close to being in.
So number 7 is actually
gotta be Miami.
No, 7
was wow.
Number 7 was Boston, and number 8. Who was number 8?
I mean,
last seed we'll go Toronto.
Nope.
Miami. One of the top 8.
Nope, Miami. Wow. Miami was not even in the top 8.
Hawks.
Not the Hawks.
Knicks.
Not the Knicks.
Oh, I hope it wasn't the Knicks. Pacers.
Nope. Think of playoff teams last year.
Think of playoff teams last year.
Not the Hawks.
So we got Brooklyn, Chicago, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Washington, Charlotte, Boston. Philly was number 8.
Wow.
At Christmas. So Christmas was totally different than what the playoffs actually were. Brooklyn, Chicago, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Washington, Charlotte, Boston, and Philly was the 1 through 8. So your Miami Heat wasn't even in the conversation, Sheedy.
Came up to a number 1 seed. Come on. So
the Raptors conversation. So it's that to me. As I looked out, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
At Christmas.
Yeah.
But they always say that the league don't start until Christmas. So like what the standards were at that time, don't necessarily mean it was gonna happen by April or into early May. So that was the East. So let's do the West. Who's number 1 seed in the West? Should be easy.
I got to be the Suns.
Yeah, Phoenix was wire to wire with the number 1 seed. They had like a 20-game win streak at one point. It was something crazy like that. So we had Phoenix number 1. All right, number 2.
At that time, was it the Jazz?
Nope.
Was it Golden State?
Golden State was number 2. I think it was prior to Clay coming back, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, Clay coming back.
Number 3.
Okay.
So number 3.
Grizzlies.
Nope.
Mavericks.
I think they were top 4.
Nuggets.
Nope.
Oh, 8. Oh, I hate to say the Clippers.
Nope.
Minnesota.
Nope.
Dang.
Right. If for damn sure couldn't have been the Spurs.
So again, we got Phoenix and Golden State. Number 1 and 2. Who's number 3?
Grizzlies.
Nope.
No, I want the Grizz. And 1 Dallas.
Mavericks. Jazz.
Jazz.
Trap Jazz. Oh, that will never be there again.
It's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a long time.
It's gonna be a while, but
all right. So we got Phoenix, Golden State, Jazz, number 4 seed.
Phoenix, Golden State, Jazz. If this ain't the Grizzlies, then the Grizzlies got to be about 5.
Memphis Grizzlies number 4.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, that should be Grizzlies. I knew they were top 4. Yeah.
Number 5.
That's where it gets ugly.
Denver.
It gets ugly down here.
Denver.
Nah, not Denver.
Was it Minnesota?
Nope.
Or Dallas?
Nope.
No.
The one Golden was it because they was like 6, 7, something like that. Golden State.
Nah, go ahead. They're 2.
No, Golden State was 2.
All right, say 2.
So Clippers.
I'm thinking.
Clippers were 5. No Kawhi Leonard at all this season. They were 5. They had Paul
George,
everybody, but they were 5.
Ty Lue.
They were 5. Number 6.
Nuggets.
Nope.
Dang. I just keep believing it's going to be the Nuggets, man. Mavericks or Timberwolves?
No.
Neither.
Neither of them?
All right, 2. Your turn.
Portland.
Nope.
Oh, because I was saying Dame when
Dame was hurt all year.
I know it wasn't your old favorite team, the Lakers.
The Los Angeles Lakers were number 6.
It was the Lakers. I ain't think the Lakers were the top 8 team by here. Man.
Los Angeles Lakers were number 6. So Phoenix, Golden State, Utah, Memphis, both LA teams, number 7.
Both LA teams.
I don't see a scenario where the Mavericks are not in the top 8. Yeah.
Mavericks are number 7. And number
Okay.
8.
Okay.
Number 8.
Denver.
Timberwolves.
Denver was number 8. So Jokic
Denver.
was there somewhere. He was in there.
If he
Right,
could, better be.
hold on.
Better be.
Hold on. So speaking of which, it kind of make my case of why I don't have in the playoffs next year. People got on me on Twitter about that, and they were the 8th seed by Christmas last year. I know.
They were 6 last year, about the end of the season, I think.
What the Nuggets were number 6, yes.
They were number 6. So they only went up 2 spots from Christmas. So I mean, you might have a point too. You might have a point.
Yeah, you might.
Love Jokic. Everything outside of Jokic is everything.
But that guard played Bones, whatever his name
Bones
is.
Island.
He really started coming along during the second part of the season. Anyway, I was after the trade deadline. To be honest, he was really instrumental for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is why I think they also were okay with trading that guy to Washington.
Yeah. So yeah, again, the standings at Christmas, I mean, they mean something because I kind of compare it to like starting a semester or starting your time in college, where your first semester you gotta have a strong foundation. You gotta have like a 3.5 GPA because if you start struggling towards the end of the season or the end of the semester or the end of your time in college, you need to have that cushion.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these things had a strong cushion, but then a lot of them kind of fell off quickly. So you had like Washington fell off, the Hornets fell off, Cleveland fell off because of injury, Lakers, obviously, Clippers, they kind of did it themselves. They're like, no, well, I ain't playing in the second playing game, So
yeah.
So all of that to say, I wanted us to figure out what do we predict the top 8 for each conference would be leading up into Christmas, and then that would segue into our talk about the Christmas games themselves. So I can go first, honestly, and I'll provide my East, I guess my reasons for those teams being in this position. And I have my team that I think had the easiest schedule leading up into Christmas, and also the most difficult schedule as well too. So for the East, I have this is my order from 1 to 8: Boston, Philly, surprisingly, y'all, Atlanta at 3, Milwaukee, Chicago, Cleveland, Washington, Brooklyn. Yes, I do not have the Miami Heat, my top 8 going into Christmas. They weren't in the top 8 last year. Not that it matters, but I think Boston is going to be that team that kind of like Phoenix. They lost that year in the finals, and they don't come out swinging early on and often. Last year, they started off very, very slow. And I don't think that'll be the case this year. I think Ime Udoka has the experience with his team. I think Jaylen Brown is motivated because he's like, y'all trying to trade for Kevin Durant. Like, nah, I'm Jaylen Brown. I'm that dude too. So I think that Boston will be strong in that regard. I have Philly next because I think that James Harden, he looked like he in shape based on the workout pictures I haven't seen of him. And I think that he is happy to be in Philly. He's happy to be with Joel Embiid. So I think they will have a fast start as well. Atlanta, I actually, in the previous episode, I had Atlanta not making the playoffs, or as a team that couldn't make the playoffs potentially. But looking at their schedule, they had an easy schedule to start leading up to Christmas. So I was like, they probably could get a lot of wins, stack a lot of wins against their easier opponents. They could fall off later on in the season. It depends, but I think they're just going to be too good with Trey and DeJounte Murray, and if they keep John Collins, to not win some of these games against like Detroit twice and Charlotte, New York, and the Jazz. Like this a lot of easy wins for them, I think, in my opinion. It should be anyway. Then I had Milwaukee. I had to explain Milwaukee, Chicago, Cleveland, Washington. I think will be a formidable team this season from start to finish because they have Bradley Beal healthy the whole season, Kyle Kuzma, Roy Hachimura, a bunch of other players. And then Brooklyn at number 8. I put them at 8 because I don't know. I don't know whether they're going to be a top 4 seed because Kevin Durant going to play with Kyrie and whoever else is going to be there. And I can't have them not in winning games because if Kevin Durant is playing, they're going to win games. Like this, Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, Kyrie, they should win games against a lot of teams, honestly. But because of that uncertainty with that, I'm kind of like, I don't know. So I got them at 8 to cover my ass because I don't know. They got to cover my ass from top to bottom. So that was my East. What's y'all's East?
I guess I'll start too. That's fine. So this is an interesting question, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, he hit us with this right before the show started. By the way, so I want to make sure the listeners know that the teacher gave us extra credit homework right before class started.
Be like that.
But I'm gonna get my extra credit. One seed I think by the time Christmas comes will be Milwaukee. I think that not that we've downplayed Milwaukee, but everyone's downplayed Milwaukee. Milwaukee won won the finals just a year ago, right? They were Chris Middleton injury away from contending again this year. Giannis is getting even better. That man is shooting the corner three with ease. But again, there's no hands in his face, no pressure right now. But you look at a team that's pretty much bringing back their stronger core, great coach. And so I got Milwaukee for one. I think to your point, Boston does make a strong run in the beginning of the season. More seasoned coach. Jason Tatum looked pretty fluid in that pro-am game. But by the way, I don't care about pro-am games anymore. And Jaylen Brown, there's been a lot of like trade talk about him for years, and it's just he just continues to prove how much he's undervalued, so to speak. I think at Boston, but they're also not trading him ever. So give me Boston at 2. 3, I got Philadelphia. It's hard to go against Joel Embiid and James Harden, whether or not he's in shape or not. And Doc Rivers is your favorite regular season coach. I don't get much for him once the regular season is over, but he's going to do pretty well in the regular season. That's 3. 4, I got Atlanta. Atlanta has a pretty favorable schedule. I think you kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier at the beginning of the season. It kind of tapers off after New Year's, but I think they're good enough to get into that 4th seed. And right below them or right on their tail, I got Cleveland. Cleveland takes a little bit harder in the beginning, but it's like an easy thing from like right after Thanksgiving until that Christmas-ish time. So give me Cleveland at 5, Toronto at 6. It's kind of like a taper effect for them as I look through their schedule. And then I would say, to your point, this is where I would put Brooklyn because who's ever on that team, I think will be decent enough because even their schedule is not that bad after Thanksgiving to give a push for 7. And, I got to put Miami in there, right? Miami at 8. Just because it just always takes us time to find ourselves, but we hit our stride pretty well after around like Martin Luther King Day and there on after. But to hear last season we weren't even in the top 8, right? But we finished the season at the number 1 seed. Says a lot about Eric Spoelstra and who we have as staff. By the way, let me say this before I go any further. Stop shooting yourselves in the foot, Miami Heat and Pat Riley. Why in the hell are you offering Udonis Haslem a contract spot that he fucking took for his 20th season to sit here and be a coach? Just give him a damn polo and let's move on. I'm done.
Okay, so for those who didn't know, yeah.
Don't you get something special if you in the league for like 20 years? Like, don't you get
I
something
don't-
special?
I
Like
don't
a
know.
jacket or something?
He's going to get his jersey retired in Miami. That's fine. That's fine. He could have stopped last season, the season before that. He's going to his 20th season. He doesn't even play 20 minutes in a season.
The total
and
season.
Start giving a roster spot.
Okay,
To be fair, anybody on the end of the bench don't get 20 minutes, but hey.
I'm clipping this part of the video. This getting clipped, and we put this on social media. Now I will blurt out the curse words because this is a family show. It's not, but but yes.
I was gonna say, is it?
For those who don't know, Udonis Haslem is in his 20th season. The Miami Heat are a very familial organization. They like to have a family Heat culture. If I'm not mistaken, Udonis Haslem went to college in Florida. I think at Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So he is homegrown, and so Pat Riley continues to give him some money, ain't nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, there is something wrong with it, according to Sheedy. And Sheedy's a teacher, so we're gonna listen to Sheedy. All right, so you ready?
Yep. All right, so let's get it. So let me see. We start in the East, right? I'm with y'all as far as y'all said with Milwaukee and everything. They're definitely, I don't know why people keep sleeping on them every year, and now they have the most dominant player in the league, right? Arguably, we can argue that Chris Middleton would have put him over the top, but honestly, I'm somebody I still would have had Boston going to the finals anyway. I have my own theories outside of outside the court where I felt like Boston would have won. We'll talk about that later. Goddamn Mad Dog still got a team. You talk about somebody that's on TV and got a job they ain't supposed to have. That damn Mad Dog on ESPN, he got a job that whatever. So I got Milwaukee number 1. I got Boston number 2. They got a hell of a lot better. They'll be competing with Milwaukee, I think, all season for the number 1 spot. They did go out and get better, especially at Malcolm Brogdon. Like solid pickup for him. I actually got the Philadelphia 76ers finishing number 3 right now. Of course, James Harden in the regular season, can't say nothing about that. He does look more in shape, but I mean, we'll see. Joel Embiid expecting to be healthy. He still wants the MVP, not MVP. Yeah, he still wants the MVP trophy at the end of the season anyway. So I think we're still going to see a great Philly team. They're a little bit more rounded as well, bringing in PJ Tucker and DeAnthony Melton from Memphis. And Tyrese Maxey, they finally got their guard they've been looking for since my guy Fultz. And they finally got one. So Maxey, he's going to still put up the numbers. He's going to do maybe even better. So got Sixers number 3. Number 4, I actually got the Miami Heat. I think the reason y'all were outside the top 8 last season was because y'all got a lot of new players. Y'all got top 10 Lowry. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got Tyler Hero still trying to find his own. Y'all got, I don't want to say Duncan Robinson. He kind of declined, but I think you still had a bunch of players. PJ Tucker, I just mentioned him. Still a bunch of players still trying to figure out each other. Once y'all did figure it, y'all got on just like that, and I think that momentum continues next season. Brooklyn, only because, of course, I got them in the playoffs next year based on Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And God willing, Ben Simmons playing on this team. If they do that, they'll be even higher, I think. But this is based on just maybes right now. Like I got them as a top 5 at least. I got number 6, Atlanta, the Atlanta Hawks. I still think that Jonte Murray and Trae Young combination is about to do some damage in the league. I strongly believe that backcourt is about to do its thing. And let me see, number 7, I got Toronto. For whatever reason, they continues to win games, and hey, that's the culture out there in Toronto/Tampa. And then number 8, finishing out Cleveland.
Fair enough. I think like I decided to omit Miami just because like I know they start slow every year, but at the same time Miami gonna find a way to be there. They always find a way. Like Coach Spoelstra, one of my favorite coaches in the league, probably the best coach in the league in my opinion, because he just makes chicken noodle soup out of chicken shit every single time. All right, going out west. My 1 through 8. Number 1, I mean, defending champs, Golden State Warriors. I mean, they only getting better. They didn't lose anything. Like they literally did not lose anything. You getting Steph, Clay, Draymond, Kuminga, Moody, Poole, Wiseman. I hope Wiseman play this year. They have a stack. They got a stacked roster. Got one of the best coaches in the league. One of the best coaches in the league. It's gonna be hard to knock them off. It's gonna be hard to knock them boys off. Number 2, I went with Phoenix because I feel like while I'm assuming they're going to continue to be successful, I think this ranking is contingent upon Chris Paul still being healthy. He is older, on the back half of 30, on the back 9 of his career. I expect him to get hurt at some point. I don't want him to, but I expect it at some point it's going to happen because it's Chris Paul. He's older and he has an injury history. But I got the Suns at number 2. Number 3, some people might hate me, but I'm gonna go with Dallas. I think Dallas got significantly better. They got Christian Wood. I mean, you lose Jalen Brunson, but Luka is still Luka. You got shooters around him. You got a big man that can score for himself and play defense and get rebounds and do everything you need on offense to kind of give Luka a chance to chill. I think Dallas is a sneaky finals team. I think they're a sneaky finals team this year. Number 4, I got the Clippers because Kawhi and Paul George I expect to play, and you still got T. Lue, a decent coach. Number 5, Denver, with Junior back, with Murray back. I think Denver's going to be a much better team with the Joker. Number 6, I got the Grizzlies. I think the early season without Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to hurt them. I think they could even be lower, depending on how things tend to go. If we lose Ja to injury, which has happened before, I think the past 2 years we've lost Ja to injury in some capacity early on in the season. They might be in trouble. I think Tyus Jones still that dude. I mean, let's be real. He's the best backup point guard in the league. But you last year you had Jaren, you know what I'm saying? So you had Tyus Jones and Jaren together. So it worked. If you lose Ja, you don't have Jaren or Ja. Still got Tyus Jones and you got Bane, but it won't be as good on offense. And you lost Melton and Kyle Anderson. So you really don't have, some consistency from the Grizzlies. So at 6 right now, but they could be lower depending on how the season goes. Number 7, I got Minnesota. I think Rudy Gobert is a regular season winning machine, and I think they'll be in the top 8 in some capacity early on. And then number 8, I actually got the Lakers. So I feel like they were there last year. And I would assume with AD and LeBron, by default, you're going to win some games. They actually, in my opinion, had the toughest schedule up to this point. Let me go to the schedule real quick. They had Golden State, Clippers, Portland, Denver, Minnesota, Denver, Pelicans, Cleveland, Clippers again, the Kings, Brooklyn. They got the Spurs 3 times in four games. That's crazy. And then towards Christmas in like December, they got, listen to this, y'all. They got Milwaukee at Milwaukee, Washington at Washington, Cleveland at Cleveland, Toronto at Toronto, Philly at Philly, Detroit at Detroit. And then Boston coming out there, Denver coming out there, Washington coming out there, going to Phoenix. Then you got the Kings. Then you got Charlotte. And then you got Dallas on Christmas. So that slate of games is like a murderer's row. So it's tough, but I still think that they will be at number 8. So yeah, that's my top 8 at Christmas for the West Coast.
It's funny because we actually got the same top. I think it was top 3. You said Golden State, right? Number 1.
Golden State.
Everything that you just submitted, this is literally Steph Curry's time. We thought it was his time before, but hell no, it's literally his time now. And they got, in my opinion, the best roster that they've ever had coming in outside the Kevin Durant rosters, of course.
That's facts.
So number 1, Golden State. Number 2, of course, Phoenix, a regular season team. Of course, they always gonna finish in the top. Number 3, you said Dallas. Everything you said about Dallas is correct. Last year, I kept asking, how the hell these guys keep winning games? How they keep winning games? Luka Doncic is that guy. And Luka Doncic is that guy. And not to spoil it, but we'll be talking about the next. We'll be talking about the top 10 point guards next episode, next season. That's gonna be a fun episode. But Luka's gonna have that team right there. You said they're a sleeper for finals. I couldn't agree more. Number 4, I actually got the Clippers. I do got the Clippers. Like I said, everybody coming in healthy. Tyler doing his thing. I think they're gonna continue to ball. They still got some things to figure out, of course, but with that talent and Tyloo coaching, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard not to have them there right now. Number 5, got Memphis Grizzlies as well. Everything you said, if something happens to Ja, we might end up being the lottery real quick, real fast, just like that. So God willing, Ja stay healthy. Because losing Jaren does hurt. Like, of course, we had Jaren last year. We had Tyus to help out and come in, and we were still able to keep the ball rolling. Jaren he does his thing. You call him Triple L, Sheedy. I give him the respect that he deserves. Triple J is that guy. And he's only going to continue to get better if he can stay healthy. So, but I still got the Grizzlies number 5. Number 6, I got Minnesota. Number 7, I actually got Denver in it right now. Simply because, and let me finish out first. Number 8, I got the Lakers. So with the West, I actually had to use sportingnews.com. They had ranked like the hardest or easiest schedules. And they actually had the Nuggets as having, it's crazy that you said that, Savage, because they actually had the Nuggets with the easiest schedule up until, period. So, I mean, we'll see. But that's my list. They got let me see, I don't want to go right into the list as well, but they had the Spurs having the hardest schedule, Nuggets having the easiest. I think that'll kind of help them. But if the Nuggets don't take advantage of that time right there, Savage, of the time before Christmas, I think that's going to be an issue. So, I mean, we'll see. But and then the Lakers, they talking about running the offense through AD. You made the hashtag who guard AD for a reason. It's literally just health. And if he can stay healthy and they can run the offense through AD, which I can't wait to see what that looks like, AD can put up some MVP numbers and they can be at that AC for real.
Yeah. I think one thing to describe how I'm doing this list in the West is prove it. You have a lot of teams, a lot of players that want to prove themselves, whether it's Chris Paul proving he deserves a ring, whether it's the Clippers proving that they're title contenders, whether it's Golden State letting you know that this is truly a dynasty that's not going anywhere. And so this is how I rated this. And again, as we already started this show off by saying, what happens by Christmas definitely gonna be what it is at the end of it all. And so for the reasons I discussed, I'm actually gonna say the Clippers for number one. They have a very, very easy schedule all the way up until after Christmas, I believe. But I should say easy, but more favorable schedule for them. I know you brought up the Lakers earlier, but to be honest, the Clippers have been beating the Lakers with and without Kawhi for what, 7 out of 9 games? So that's not even a thing anymore, unfortunately. So give me Clippers at 1. And I think, again, I'm talking about proving it. I actually got Dallas at 2. Dallas, again, has a very favorable schedule. Luka's in a better shape. Christian Wood is coming from a team that was playing for a lottery pick to a team that's going to be, to y'all's point, contending for Western Conference there. So give me Dallas at 2. I can't take anything away from the champions. I'm not putting them anything lower than 3. Golden State, I think, is for the entire season going to float around that 2-3 range, and then they're just going to shoot up towards the end. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I got Golden State at 3. After Golden State, I have they're going to tank though after this. It's Minnesota. I got Minnesota high because again, it's proving it's who you playing, and to be honest, a Rudy Gobert team is not quite going to be out of the playoffs that soon. Anthony's looking very good with his haircut. We'll see. I think again, Karl-Anthony Towns, I think, is going to try to prove some things. Again, a lot about proving yourselves, but we all know things are going to change once we get a little bit of a break. So for Minnesota at 5, I agree. We're right there too. I think Memphis is there at 5, but I also agree with Savage. They could be sliding at 6, but I'll keep them at 5. Just because, again, Ja has to prove stuff now, right? With or without Jaren. And I think that he's going to prove that. I mean, I know it was fake, but they had a 98 overall rating in NBA 2K. I think that was fake. He's going to try to prove he's the best point guard in the league. So give me Memphis at 5. At 6 is the Nuggets. To your point earlier, they have the easiest schedule. They always are floating in between that 3 to 6 range. And I don't see them anything lower than 6 at this point. Again, Jamal Murray's coming back. Junior's coming back, to your point, proving it that the Nuggets deserve it. Not even just being the playoffs, but then I think they'll shoot off as well. So give me them at 6. I think I'll take the Lakers at 7. It's LeBron. It's AD. And it's whatever Russell Westbrook decides to show up or not show up. And I think by then, you know who they're going to trade for too, if they don't already have Kyrie on that team. And so the last team that I got there is going to be, again, we're talking about proving it. I'm going to have the Pelicans, man, at number 8. Good coach. I think Brandon Ingram is going into maybe his final year, still making over $30 million. Zion's coming back. This lineup is 2K-ish, decent. But you got some shooters. You got CJ McCollum will be there. And I believe in a little bit of what the Pelicans are doing. I think for them to actually be in the playoffs again this year, they're going to have to stay around that 8 to 10 range the entire season. So I'm going to keep them at 8 just to surprise some folks right now.
You mentioned the Pelicans. I think that now that Zion's been paid and he has that weight clause in his contract, I think he is going to play. And last time we saw Zion Williamson was a problem. And you already got Ingram. You got GTA. You got Devontae Graham. I think is still there as well too.
Yes, Devontae who was a former 6th player of the year, 6th man of the year, right? Or was
you know running for that? Yeah. I know he was starting with Charlotte and then they traded him, but still, I mean that's a bucket. That's like CJ McCollum. Great value, honestly. So yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not mad at it. Say what too?
Still got JV.
And still got a very underrated JV. Yes.
Absolutely. For sure. So who were the top 10 easiest schedules? What's on that list?
Give me 1 second. Let me put up. All right. So Nuggets, Jazz, Hawks, Timberwolves, stay woke. Cleveland, Milwaukee, Memphis Grizzlies, Phoenix Suns, Boston Celtics, and the Clippers, which is why I had Clippers in my top 4.
Okay. I figured Atlanta had an easy schedule because I looked at this. I'm like, this thing is easy. They can literally stack up wins early. So I'm kind of concerned about my somewhat prediction of them not making playoffs. But I mean, I had them stacking up wins. I just had to because
we'll wait till the end. You never know how this is going to turn out. It's 82 games. Right. You never know what can happen.
That's facts. Right. That's facts. All right. So that's segueing into, I guess, our next segment because we wanted to see where the standings were leading into Christmas. And now, of course, Christmas is a big deal for the NBA. And if you're an NBA fan, because that's when you're around your family. We got 5 NBA games, I believe 3 NFL games, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think any of them were good. I can't recall. I don't know. But I'm excited about NBA Christmas more than NFL Christmas, honestly, because we got 5 good games. We got Sixers at Knicks, Lakers at Mavericks, Bucks at Celtics, Grizz. Thank God the Grizz finally got an NBA game on Christmas. Grizz versus the Warriors and Suns at the Nuggets. So we got the 5 games, gentlemen. What are your thoughts on the teams playing? And of course, I mean, we're a Memphis-based podcast, even though my brother's in Phoenix and in Dallas. But just give me y'all's thoughts about the games.
Oh, you might not want to hear how upset I'm about to be at this one.
Go ahead.
However, let me first start off on the good foot. I am very excited that the Memphis Grizzlies are not only just playing on MLK Day, like that's like the game for Memphis, right? Like we know nationally televised, we always get MLK Day, but to see that we are actually playing the defending champions and they got in there and it's going to become a rivalry, hopefully, is fantastic. And I love to see that. And kudos to John Moran and everyone else that made that happen, whoever decided this. Thank you. But the motherfucking Knicks? Are you kidding me?
It's a Heat fan, y'all. It's a Heat fan.
So yes, and I am a Heat fan. So let's run the numbers then, because I was waiting to talk about this. If anything, I need to talk about the Christmas Day because I'm not turning in on the first game. Trash, trash, a blowout. Even if James Harden and Joel Embiid don't show up for that game, it's still a blowout. How are the Knicks must-see TV? Because I got Jalen Brunson, Obi Toppin, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle. This is must-see TV over Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Udonis Haslem, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero. This is must-see TV. Are you kidding me? We've only been to the Eastern Conference Finals twice in the past 3 years. And how disrespectful to put the Knicks up. The Knicks? They barely made the playoffs the other season and got washed by the Hawks.
Wait. So the Knicks on Christmas is like the Lions on Thanksgiving, man. It's a holiday tradition. They gotta play.
I am part of an organization that does not rest on the traditions of the past.
Fair enough. I am too.
Shut up,
and so I will stop my rant about this and say, of all the games, no one should be turning into the 76ers and Knicks. I don't care. Don't bet on the game if you want to. I don't give a damn. That is the most trash game that they have provided. Now, I think there's 2 games that I'm really looking forward to the most, including the Warriors versus Grizzlies, because this is in Golden State, but we've made a great run in Golden State too, so let's not, put that down. But the other game I'm really looking forward to is just Bucks Celtics. Seeing that's a good measuring stick for both of those teams kind of earlier on. To your point too earlier, you talked about, not sure if Chris Middleton would have been the difference maker. I really don't know because Jason Tatum was on a run, to be honest. And now you got Malcolm Brogdon as well. You got him for pennies. I think they also got Gallinari too, for even a hole in the penny, if you would. would too. So I'm looking forward to see what this team and that game will look like. But those are the two games for sure I'm looking forward to. You don't need to ask me about that first one because that is a slap in the face to the Miami Heat organization. The only team that didn't make the playoffs gets a home game for Christmas Day this year. I'm going to leave it at that.
I mean, Sheedy, you got to understand business one-on-one, bro. It's business one-on-one. It's the NBA. It's the only team in New York. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I guess Brooklyn too, but New York City, the big Mecca, you know what I mean? So you got to play. And like Savage said, it's tradition. So you got to have them. And the fact that they're going against the Sixers, like you said, I don't think blowout, but I think the Sixers do come away with the win on that one. I don't think blowout, though. But I mean, the Knicks could have Donnie Mitchell by the end too, and from what I'm seeing, they damn near about to pull the trigger on something within the next week or so. So
not that trade that I saw that you posted, Sheedy, that
eight draft picks in the starting five.
I was like, wait,
Donovan Mitchell. They're about to trade the coach.
It was like what, 8 first-round picks,
8 first-round picks, 5 players, Spike Lee.
I was like, the whole team.
I don't think it's to that extent. I think of course, you got people that's out here trolling, but man. I think something's gonna happen real soon because I think you gotta pull the trigger on that before training camp, especially if you're Donnie Mitchell, and Danny Ainge as well. So I think somebody's gonna fold in a way. Bucks and Celtics, like you said, she did everything that we want. I did have the Celtics going to the finals regardless, because if it's one team that was built to stop Giannis, it was the Celtics. You know what I'm saying? We saw that in the finals. Man, I'm not taking away none from Mid. Mid showed who he was a couple years ago when they did win the championship. Mid is far from Mid. I understand that. But that Celtics team was good defensively. I think that was at the top defensively. But that's a game I definitely can't wait to see, especially if everybody's healthy. Suns and Nuggets, if everybody healthy, that's going to be a fun game to watch too. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, what Jamal Murray going to see? Are we going to see Junior in the game? So, I mean, we'll see. If it's one game I know I'm probably not going to watch, believe it or not, it's probably going to be this one. Lakers and Mavs, if healthy, Lakers team, hey, that's going to be a fun game to watch, especially against that young boy Luka. And then this game literally is the difference between the NFL and the NBA. For one, the NFL having games on NBA lets you know that they're not paying attention to nothing outside the dollar that they're trying to make. Outside of that, they've never been into with the culture. They've never really cared about us. That's a whole nother rant for a whole nother podcast. But when you talk about the NBA, they do look at their superstars. They do look at their fan base and see what the people want. And they literally gave us, and it sucks for me to say because I'm a fan of both teams, the next best rivalry in the NBA. We looking at it right here. When you talk about play styles, completely different. When you talk about ages, you know, Grizz up and coming, Warriors been here for a minute. We love to see the story like that. We love to see when the little brother's gonna take over the big brother. That's just what we are. So the fact that we got the Grizz and the Warriors on Christmas Day, prime time, like it's gonna be beautiful to see. I think it'll be record breaking in my opinion if everybody's healthy, of course. But that's just me. That's just where we are with social media. Steph Curry's gonna be healthy. Ja Morant's gonna be healthy, and we know what both of those guys are on social media. They're number 1 and number 2 probably in the NBA. And so you put them on the court at prime time Christmas Day. I'll be watching it. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the NBA for looking and seeing what they had, for knowing that Ja Morant, Draymond Green wanted this to happen, for them probably going and say, hey, Adam, mess with us real quick, bro. And mess with us real quick. And they did. That the NBA realized that this is going to be great for money as well. So shout out to them, man. I know if the NFL got a game at this time, ain't nobody watching it. So we need to find out who's playing. Let me find out real quick.
Yeah, look real quick while I get into I guess my spiel. So Took mentioned basically that the NBA and Adam Silver get their ear to the streets, and they definitely do, because one, like Took mentioned, the Grizzlies and Warriors matchup, that's a rivalry that everybody wants. They know that Ja and Draymond going at it on social media. They know that Ja Morant gave Steph Curry some dap on the way after game 2 and said it's gonna be fun, you know, going out to Golden State for game 3. But not only that, but I forgot to mention with the schedule release that the NBA got the Rivals Week. That's new for this year. And so Rivals Week is January, the week of the 24th, I believe. And they got like Heat versus Boston, Clippers versus Lakers, Nets versus Sixers, Grizz versus Warriors. So again, it's a rivalry. Bulls and Hornets. That's a throwback rivalry right there. Mavericks, Suns, Grizz, Timberwolves. Another rivalry that's button. Raptors and Warriors. Nuggets, Sixers, Knicks and Nets, Lakers and Boston. So again, the NBA got their ear to the streets. They understand like the culture itself of like we know that people talk shit, and we want to see that, you know, in prime time games like Christmas, like rivalry week. You ready to?
Yep, the game that'll be played will be Denver versus the Rams.
Ain't nobody watching it. Ain't nobody watching it. I'm not.
Wow.
I'm not watching it.
And the crazy part is, I feel like both teams need that victory at that time. I feel like the Rams at that time would be playing for like, I don't know, 1 or 2 seed, and the Broncos may be playing for at least to win their division. But I get you. I'm not gonna watch it. I'd rather watch them ball.
Yeah. So yeah, looking over the Christmas games, I never watched the 11 o'clock game anyway. So Sixers and Knicks, like typically, I just remember seeing the Knicks and like the Wizards playing, and I ain't watching that. Lakers and Mavericks, that to me is an eye opener because normally more times than not, LA is playing at home. They're not at home. They're going to Luka, and that just for me is saying that Luka is gonna be that dude this year. Bucks and Celtics, Sheedy already kind of touched on that. Grizz and Warriors, again, rivalry. And then Suns and Nuggets. I think this game is going to be pretty important. It's going to be late at night, but Ayton just got paid. He got paid $150. And Jokic, I'm assuming, going to have his full stack roster with him. And I just want to see Joker put that man on skates. I just want to see him work DeAndre Ayton. If y'all don't know by now, I am not DeAndre Ayton's biggest fan. Not because of him personally, but because the Phoenix Suns fans came at me last year on Twitter, and I'm still ready to fight over that. But yeah, I hopefully will watch that game if I ain't dead by then, because I have a 1-year-old daughter. Well, she'll be like 1.5 by then. So yeah, good slate of games for this Christmas. I think that this will be, this is not a Grizzlies pod per se, but I think this is going to be the beginning of us as a fan base, with the Grizzlies being on Christmas consistently. For Memphis Grizzlies, because I feel like John Morant, he's must-see TV. He has to be on TV in the prime time position, because, I mean, just like last year, he might dunk on you. He might hit a full court heave shot. He might catch a full court pass from Steven Adams with 0.4 on the clock. So they got to put him on TV during prime time. So yeah, y'all, that's the schedule. That's Christmas. Let's get into Kevin Durant, man. This is our weekly Kevin Durant update. So again, y'all, we're gonna do Kevin Durant updates every week because something new was gonna happen at some point. And we're trying to figure out, is Kevin Durant gonna actually play for the Brooklyn Nets? So we're gonna end our show discussing what's going on with Kevin Durant almost every episode. That's literally what it's gonna be, because it's gonna be a weekly show, and the season starts in about a month and a half from now. Right. They play preseason ball in September. Kevin Durant got to report training camp one way or another. So we gonna see. But Trae Young posted on social media this past week of him doing a private workout with Kevin Durant, and not just Kevin Durant, but Kyrie Irving as well too. So last episode, I was like, are Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving even friends anymore? Because, I mean, Steve Nash is Kyrie's man, 50 grand. Like that's his dude. And the GM, you know, Kevin Durant assumingly was cool with the GM. He's cool with Steve Nash, but he also said, get rid of the GM, get rid of Steve Nash. But that's Kyrie's man. So I'm like, is Kyrie still cool with Steve Nash? I don't get it. It's like high school drama. If you're a teacher and you know about high school drama, it's something every single week with the same people. And that's literally what it is. Like 1 minute y'all cool, next minute y'all not together, the next minute you dating his boyfriend, next minute literally his boyfriend, her girlfriend, whatever it is. So this week, like I said, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are working out together with Trae Young. What are y'all thoughts about that? Initial thoughts. I have no thoughts. I'm just like, whatever. It's something else again.
Yeah. I think it's still I mean, this is going to be debatable until Kevin Durant makes a decision, along with Big Joe. I think there's something to be said about how these two videos or images have come about. When I say that, I mean the other week we saw Kevin with James Harden, and they were supporting maybe Travis Scott, I believe, out in Europe, Asia, some crazy concert tour. But what I saw there was fun, so to speak, right? I saw the energy. This past one, I'm not saying that the energy was not the exact same. It could be more of a business type of decision from how the body language was perceived. Regardless, I I don't believe both of these players will finish the season, let alone start the season, but not finish the season together. When I say these two players, I mean Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. There's still trade talks that are pretty heavy with LA. The Lakers, I would say, not the Clippers, trying to establish for Kyrie. But that, again, is putting where's Kevin Durant with, to your point, Savage, that Steve Nash is Kyrie's guy. And then, Big Joe. So I said retirement was away. And then I feel like KD, to your point, Savage, heard the show and was like, man, nah, man, I ain't retiring.
That was the next day. He said it the next day.
Like
literally the next day.
I didn't hear anyone else say that. I really just brought that to myself. Like the way to get out of a contract, especially for 4 years, if you're not getting what you want, you retire and then you find yourself somewhere else. And so I will stick to the retirement, I guess, for now. And I would hate to see a year where he doesn't play, but I mean, I don't see Brooklyn being a title contender without Kevin Durant, let alone a playoff team without Kevin Durant. So Joe's going to have to make some big decisions. Unfortunately, our favorite person in the whole wide world has ruined everything, and his name is Danny Ainge, in regards to the value and market value for what Kevin Durant should be going for.
That'll get worse with Donovan Mitchell with 8 first-round picks. It's gonna be 20
and who's over that is again, yeah. I mean, you would literally just sign the team over, right? As a matter of fact, Seattle, just go ahead and get Kevin Durant. Go ahead and take Seattle. That's your team, Kevin. You figure it out in the West with your team, like legitimately, because they're giving up way too much. So I don't see, again, a scenario where both of these players play with each other at the end of the season. And I think there's a way still for Kyrie to get to LA somehow, some way, even if there's a third team, i.e. the Spurs or someone else. But the question is, where does Kevin Durant go? And if it ain't Brooklyn, then it's at home.
Kevin Durant signed a 4-year contract, y'all. Y'all know me. I'm the biggest Kevin Durant fan you'll find. He signed a 4-year contract, and he's going to be there. I'm not going to say the whole 4 years, but he's going to be there for next season. And it may be to his like, it may not be, it may be to his disliking. At this point, we still got to read the fine print. That Kevin Durant, you signed a 4-year contract with a team that literally just gave you everything you wanted over the past 2 years. You got everything you wanted. You wanted James Harden. You traded James Harden. You wanted Ben Simmons. You wanted this. You wanted that. And the Nets are in a position because of you. So now you gotta kind of take that spoon. You gotta lay in that bed because you made it. But you signed up. You signed. This is what you signed up for essentially. But like I told y'all last week, I ended up finding a quote of Rich Kleiman saying that I definitely want to be a part of the NBA organization at one part of my life. I told y'all last week that I think Kevin Durant trying to get Rich Kleiman in that front office. Rich Kleiman is Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is Rich Kleiman's only player. So, hey, you fired, buddy. And if Rich Kleiman ends up getting fired, and y'all know the media is going to make a big deal out of this, but remember, I said it here first. It's because he's going to get in that front office. So that's what I think Kevin Durant is right now as far as Kyrie Irving. I posted a video on Twitter with Russell. Y'all remember that first game Kevin Durant went back to OKC and how Russell felt? That shit wasn't fake. That was all real. They do not like each other. Why in the hell, if I want to keep Kevin Durant, why am I going to be Russell Westbrook here? So the only way Kyrie right there ends up on the Lakers if there is a third team. We'll see how that goes. That's the only way Kyrie end up in the Lakers outside of, was playing out this last year with his contract and pulling off next season. So if I'm the Nets, I kind of got to deal with that too, because I know Kyrie wants to be in LA. He said it at this point. You know what I'm saying? Kyrie and Katie are still friends. Don't let media fool y'all. They're cool. They with Nike they're with Nike. They got that they there. You know what I'm saying? They're cool. He can go to James Harden and Travis Scott, another country, and turn up. You know what I'm saying? But they did have a meeting with that owner too, and be like, hey, this is what I want. You better give me what I want. So it like I said, it's a weird position to be in. If you're Kevin Durant, it'll make a lot more sense if you're, 2 years, 1 year left in your deal, but you got 4 years left. But this is a player that's going to enter year 15, 16. We can't play without the time like this if I'm Kevin Durant as well. So, I mean, that's where we are. But as far as Kyrie getting to the Lakers, nah, man. Go follow me at Tev Shakir if you want to see the video that I posted with Kevin Durant came back to OKC. Whew, that's some of the funniest basketball I've watched in my life. Because I felt that. I was so conflicted. Like, I was so conflicted. Like, you want to talk about conflicted. I understand, but I can't let y'all do my guy KD like this. So, yeah.
I think the only way that Kyrie ends up in LA and Russ not in Brooklyn is if Indiana gets involved, because Indiana got the pieces. They got Miles Turner. Who else they got? Somebody else they got there. That was
Buddy.
Buddy Hield. That's the only way that I think that he would get traded, and it wouldn't be to Brooklyn. It'll be to Indiana, because I think they will take Russell Westbrook, but they will take draft picks as well too. But yeah, like when I saw that picture too, I was like, damn, Two gonna be on to something. I know he gonna be on to something, because it's like Kevin Durant and Kyrie are in the same space playing basketball. They are obviously cool with each other. I know they want to hoop together. They want to make it work. And it's like I always say, when stuff happens where there's smoke, there's fire. There is smoke all around that Steve Nash stuff. And my guy Francis on social media at Slugger Sports, he was saying, he asked like his followers what's like to happen, like Kevin Durant not being there or Kyrie not, some to that degree. And I was like, I think Steve Nash is most likely than anybody else, because I feel like you can find a coach, anybody to coach. You can find anybody to be a coach for Kevin Durant and Kyrie. Then all it needs is somebody to be a babysitter that's halfway watching them. Kevin Durant and Kyrie can figure out the offense one way or another. They two grown men who are NBA Hall of Famers. They can figure it out one way or another. But there's smoke around Steve Nash and Marks, the GM, being fired. And when I saw that picture of Kyrie and KD, I was like, Rich Kleiman about to be the GM, man. He about to be the GM. It might not be this year. If they start off slow, like how I had them at number 8 and my standings at Christmas, he can be gone, because they were at number 1 last year. And this year they will be at 8, the way that I had it. I feel like you would have to fire Steve Nash and just clean house and then give them what they want. So it might not be this year, but it might be next year for Kleiman.
I think with Kleiman, it'll be next year. And I think here's a scenario where, let's say the scenario of KD and Kyrie, which is actually my scenario number 1. They finish the season with the Nets. They give one more shot. They try to convince Ben Simmons to come back at some point this season. This is, like I said, my theory 1. They go into the playoffs. They do their thing in the playoffs. They don't get swept in the first round, of course, blah, 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 whatever. But Kyrie dips. So now you got to figure out who you going to have replace Kyrie, because for one, you didn't trade Kyrie, so you got nothing in return for him. But for 2, who you going to bring in that Kevin Durant would approve of? And I think that's going to cause some kind of friction within a front office. And Kevin Durant's really going to be like, all right, Kyrie ain't here. I need my own team, or I may retire. You know what I'm saying? Because it'll be a worse team next season. But this team, Kevin Durant really does have to look at this roster and say, top to bottom, this is a great roster to play basketball with. And I think the basketball mind that KD and Kyrie have, they will understand that. But it's going to get to a point where Kyrie's going to end up staying. He's going to end up being a Los Angeles Lakers next season. That's my scenario number 1.
Yeah, and I like what you said there too. Like, you play the season out, whether or not, whatever happens with Brooklyn happens, right? But Kyrie has been on to say that he wants to be in LA. And so how long do you go and not find talent that will come, right, to you. Like I'm not sure that we can talk about free agents for next season or what have you. If this was a scenario, right? Because if you lose Kyrie, not taking anything away from Kyrie, Kyrie is an amazing player, and 37 million worth of it. But if he just walks away and goes to LA, you're stuck with whatever you got, Brooklyn, and see who will actually come to them, who is not under contract to be there. And again, that's another talk for another day for who will be the free agents at that time. And that's why, to me, you got to trade them to get some type of value in return. The Spurs are also another team as well that's been linked to this trade with the Lakers as a third option, but they would be buying out Russell Westbrook, which means Russell will play at the first suitor.
They got to figure something out before training camp.
They got to, because like you can't have them all together in one spot with friction. Like, and that's why we're doing this every week, y'all. We're doing it literally every week. If something pop up with the news with Kevin Durant, because it's Kevin Durant. He's gonna be in the news at some point during the week. We're gonna talk about it and just figure out, like, dissect, like they have to make a decision. Either that's gonna be the GM and the coach, or it's gonna be, it won't be, I mean, I don't think they're trading Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant is just untradeable. Thanks, Danny Ainge. Kyrie, you can trade, because Kyrie will be an expiring, but Kevin Durant, I think he's gonna play in Brooklyn. But it's a matter of like how, like him being there, something got to give. It has to give. My question is, where the hell Ben Simmons at? Like, what? he just chilling.
if I can be real on Danny Ainge, I hate the fact that people are like, the Danny Ainge trade was crazy, but we still got to consider the pieces who pulled that off. Danny Ainge is a GM, GOAT GM for a reason as far as getting what he wants.
Yeah.
But last season, James Harden got traded for essentially, a couple years ago, I'm sorry, when James Harden got to the Nets, he got traded for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Essentially. Yes. So Russell Westbrook got traded for nothing. You got to look in the GM spot and be like, I can't beat Danny Ainge, but still let me get the best package that I can get. And I think that's what's in the mind of these GMs as well. Whether Rudy Gobert got this, Kevin Durant, it's about that, but it's not about that. Let's get the best deal done now instead of having to compare what the media are going to think about us. And I think that's getting away, or one of the reasons we get in the way of why, Kyrie ain't been traded, because Kevin Durant, that Kevin Durant ain't been traded, but he still wants to go to the East as well. The teams on the list on the East, I'm not trading you to a competitor. No. So if I'm gonna find a deal, I'm gonna find a deal that's in the West. And what Western Conference teams got what the Nets want right now as far as Kevin Durant go?
Legitimate question. Jalen Rose said it best, man. He said, "You never get what you deserve, only what you have to leverage to negotiate." So they might only have so much leverage to negotiate with other teams. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, we'll be back again next week with actually our top 10 point guards, like Took mentioned early on in the episode. So we're gonna do a series leading up until the NBA season. So we're gonna give y'all episodes all the way until the start. So we're gonna do point guards, shooting guards, all the way down to positions. We're gonna also do coaches as well too. So we'll do coaches, top 10 coaches, and we'll do those top 10 young players. And I'll let y'all know what the young players are in our group chat. So yeah, we're gonna give you guys episodes all the way through from now until the start of the NBA season. So if you haven't already, follow us on social media. I'm at msavage901. Sheedy is at It's Really Sheedy. And Took is at Tev Shakir. Our podcast is at 3 The Hardaway Pod on Twitter. If you are listening, again, if you're listening on a podcast platform, give us a 5-star review. And also share it with somebody. Share it with a friend, family member, teammate, whoever it is. And on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, 3 The Hardaway, and turn on notification bells. So until then, stay safe, be blessed, peace.